gentlemen, the MD graduates of the George Washington University School of Medicine and Health Sciences, congratulations. And now it is my pleasure to introduce to you Dr. Lauren Bruns, who has been selected by her classmates to offer the class address.
Get some lunch and sign those checks as MD, so we'll just make a show on the road. Like many of you, I can still remember the first time I thought to myself, hey, maybe you're actually becoming a doctor. It was, of course, an incredibly glamorous moment, like so many moments in medical school. I was a bright-eyed, bushy-tailed first year, digging wax out of a patient's ear. It was awesome. Wardrobe malfunction here. The patient was a young woman who showed up at our student-run healing clinic in Anacostia, complaining that she couldn't hear well. Being the astute, budding young physician I was, I took a look in her ear. Sure enough, it was full of wax, or as I now know, impacted with cerumen. After excitedly presenting this patient and my groundbreaking diagnosis to the attending physician, he allowed me the honor of cleaning her ears. He guided me through the procedure, and she was incredibly patient and gracious while enduring my not-so-refined cerumen disimpaction skills. When she was finished, she was thrilled to have her hearing back, and I was thrilled to be an almost doctor. I remember calling my parents on the ride home, telling them all about the magic that was earwax removal. I gave my fiancé a thorough play-by-play, detailing all the intricacies of the procedure I had just performed. I had done something extraordinary. Now, before we go on, I should perhaps briefly describe the complexities involved in this cerumen impaction procedure. You know, so you guys can all appreciate the magnitude of my accomplishment. Okay, so there's this little wandy stick thing with a loop on the end. It's called a curette, but it sort of looks like a crochet needle. Anyhow, the procedure involves carefully guiding the curette through the ear canal and then removing the wax. Incredible, right? Fast forward a few years, and I'm a big, bad fourth-year medical student working in a busy pediatric emergency room. It was Friday, and there was one thing standing between me and my night off. Enter a crumpled piece of paper lodged in a 5-year-old boy's ear. His mother was panicked, wondering if he would ever be able to retrieve it. Would he be able to hear again? What about his balance? Meanwhile, he's in the corner engrossed in a game of Angry Birds, while matter-of-factly explaining to me that the paper just fell in there. As we all know, as tiny wads of paper are often so inclined to do. Anyhow, wanting to get everyone out the door as soon as possible, the attending and I retrieved some forceps, dug the paper wad out, and discharged the family. I signed out the rest of my patients and headed home. It had been just another long, ordinary day. An attending physician once told me to always remember that being a patient in the hospital or having a loved one there is never a normal thing. It's always a big deal. But that's an easy thing for us to forget, considering we often sleep there and eat all of our meals there. Spend most of our waking hours there. Being at the hospital is just an ordinary day in the life. Totally normal. But then again, we've normalized a lot of not so ordinary things over the past 4 years. Like just buying new underwear because we haven't done laundry in 4 weeks. Or eating Trader Joe's frozen mac and cheese with Nature Valley bars for every single meal because the only edible things in their fridge are barbecue sauce and grape jelly. You guys remember in college when weekends were for tailgating? Then med school started. It was Sunday Fun Day because we didn't have to worry about falling behind on another day's lectures. Studying at a coffee shop instead of Himmelfarb was going out. And the only reason we really regularly showered was out of fear of smelling like anatomy lab on the metro. Then, when we finally made it to 3rd and 4th year, it became a totally normal thing to go 8 straight weeks wearing an outfit we got from a vending machine in the call room. Waking up at 6 a.m. was sleeping in, and staying awake past 10:30 was a feat in and of itself. To stand next to an open, exposed abdomen was just another day in the OR, and suturing knees and writing H&Ps became commonplace. As time passed, we placed our stethoscopes on the bare chests of strangers and listened to hearts we did not know. We laughed with patients and we cried with patients. And we brought new lives into this world and were there when others left. These extraordinary things became just another ordinary day. And amidst all of this, we came to normalize the expectations we had for our loved ones. Mom, how could you not understand what it's like to be awake for 30 hours? Dad, don't you get what it's like to be responsible for knowing everything there is to know about germs and drugs and anatomy and biochemistry and the general workings of the entire human body in general? We grew frustrated with our partners for asking us to stop studying to eat a meal with them. Arguments were had because sleep and survival became our priorities, and we expected their plans to revolve around our schedules. But in reality, we have called upon our loved ones to do extraordinary things. So Mom and Dad and Grandma and Grandpa and Aunt and Uncle and brother and sister and boyfriend and girlfriend and husband and wife and best friend, you are extraordinary. We truly would not be here today without your unwavering, unconditional love and support. You believed in us when this was nothing more than a dream, and you never failed to remind us of that dream through organic chemistry and physics and the dreaded MCAT. You listened to our rants and complaints during gross anatomy and biochemistry. You wiped away tears after sleepless nights and brought dinners during marathon study sessions. You washed our underwear when we had the time nor the energy to do the laundry. You have rejoiced in us with our successes and lifted us up when we missed the mark. You are our greatest fans, our strongest advocates, and our very favorite people. Each one of you is truly extraordinary for standing beside us through these years. And so to the loved ones who are here with us today, be it in spirit or in flesh, we thank you from the very bottom of our hearts. And now, we also mustn't forget that the honor bestowed upon us as physicians is far from ordinary. We have been given the privilege of caring for mothers, and for fathers, and sons, and daughters, and husbands, and wives. People will entrust us with their most precious of gifts. Patients will tell us their secrets, and their fears, and their hopes. They will look to us for guidance and support. They will give us both the privilege and the great responsibility of fixing hearts and lungs and brains and bones. We will be expected to make decisions and bear bad news, and we will be looked at as role models and healers and confidants and leaders. We are incredibly fortunate as to be entering into a profession with the highest of expectations, and this is extraordinary. But with this becomes extraordinary responsibility. It is my hope for each and every one of us that we begin every day with humility, recognizing that our days are not normal and that the work we do is far from ordinary. It is my hope that as we walk through the hospital doors each morning, we remember that any day spent here for a patient is not a normal day, and that we treat each individual bearing in mind that we have been given an extraordinary privilege. So to the internists, I hope you recognize the great opportunity to treat the whole patient each and every day. To the surgeons and the anesthesiologists, no matter how many procedures you performed, may you remember and respect the enormous responsibility you've been given. To the OBGYNs, I hope you never forget the amazing privilege of bringing life into this world while having the unique opportunity of providing care and support to women and couples. To the ER docs, I wish you compassion and wisdom, as you are often our front line in care. To the radiologists, I hope that you always respect the incredible confidence that your colleagues and patients placing your knowledge and your judgment. And to the pediatricians, may you always remember that parents have entrusted to you their most precious gifts. And to the psychiatrists, may you remember that you've been entrusted to care for some of our most vulnerable patients. And these are extraordinary things. It is my sincere hope that as we leave this place, we will approach all that we do, be it the removal of earwax or a paper wad or heart surgery, with the utmost respect. May we always remember the extraordinary honor that has been bestowed upon us as physicians. And let us not forget to appreciate the incredible people who walk alongside us as we continue this extraordinary journey. Thank you and congratulations on class of 2013.